Hi. So today I'll be presenting on my integrated final reflection on my practicum. And for my practicum, I worked with the APLU CEC team and in the capacity of a student advisory group member. Before I start anything, the APLU means the Association of Public and Land Grant Universities. So their center, that is the Center for Economic and Community Engagement, it's in charge of expanding university engagement with external partners for advancing both economic and community development. So the student advisory group, which I am a part of, ensures that the student's voice is both represented in and consulted by the CEC and to advise CEC members on best practices for economic and community engagement. So as a member of the student advisory group, what I basically do as a responsibility is to conduct projects addressing student issues pertaining to university engagement and economic development, to be determined by the executive committee and directed by the working group, and also in consultation with the student members. In addition, the student advisory group member also advocates for CEC supported initiatives among member home institutions and regions. So with the outline, we'll be looking at the introduction and background of my practicum site, which I already talked to you about, some general activities that I engaged in whilst working in that capacity, and also some learning goals that I set for myself at the beginning of my practicum. I also look at the practicum site project that I came up with, just a brief overview of it, and do a little bit of reflection also on the applied learning book that I had the chance to read, and also some next steps that I think will be meaningful and helpful for me in this capacity and also in my professional career as a higher education professional. So with a decision on where to do my practicum, as I said, I got the chance to be nominated for to be part of this student advisory group for the APLU, and looking at how my interests align with the work that is associated with this position, I decided to delve more into it to know more and learn how I can build upon my skills and expertise in terms of community engagement, and also some personal skills like how to work with people from across different, like, diverse and like very different like locations, you know. But because we are in COVID times, the form of communication and form of meeting was all virtual, and I had a chance to also learn a whole lot of things. So it wasn't like an office setup that will give me the opportunity to be in an open, like in a room or something, that a space that is given to me by the organization. No, everything was virtual. So that's how it has been for the whole summer in terms of my practicum. All right. So um from the onset, I've been engaging in a lot of like activities, but the general ones are attending APLU summer conferences and attending student advisory meeting and discussing um, project updates with my mentor and the way forward, and learning virtual meeting software and how they operate, in terms of how to organize it, how to make sure attendees and everybody that turns up is feeling comfortable and not disrupting any form of activity while the meeting is ongoing, and also brainstorming on individual project topics and proposals. So before I started this practicum, I had a chance to talk with my mentor, and we came up with some goals that will be meaningful and vital for me in terms of how I can collaborate and work with students from diverse universities, which I have not done before. So I wanted to just have that feel of how it's like to work with different students across universities. You know how the diversity is like. It's kind of very different from you working with a group in your class or a group in your institution. The second one was to learn how to enhance upon my networking skills through selected virtual learning opportunities that this position brings. And lastly, to maintain a positive working relationship with colleagues whilst building on my decision making and reporting skills. You know, being an advisor requires a lot of decisions to be made, and it's kind of different because this was in a group, and an individual advisor will make decisions in a quick manner, but being in a group, and not just a group but a group of students from diverse regions, diverse universities, diverse programs, makes it more exciting, you know. So looking at the outcomes of my first goal, to be able to demonstrate access to resource and complete my final project. And to do this, I need to get the resources from the organization's website, and also some members who are well versed in how to go about getting those resources that will help me to complete the final project. Also, give and receive constructive feedback. And to do that, I think peer review of project proposals is the best way that will help me to come kind of demonstrate that particular outcome of that goal. And lastly, how I can show flexibility in working with diverse university students. And in doing this, one activity that I doing was reflecting on the good community engagement works of different university campuses and how they can be applied to my campus, Ohio University. So all these good works that are being done in terms of community engagement in the other universities, all this information I attained from working with these people or students or colleagues from the other universities. On the second goal, the outcome reflecting this goal is to show evidence of professional networking, that is through this attending of these virtual summer meetings, especially with the one that we did in June, that comprised of a lot of people from different walks of life, different backgrounds, and getting the chance to meet all these people and connecting with them. That was really cool. And also another outcome for the second goal was to demonstrate enhanced technology expertise. And this would be possible through using the virtual software, which is Zoom, that we used for summer meetings. And lastly, enhanced communication and interpersonal skills. This is really possible because I served as a panel on the student advisory session during our summer meeting, and interacting with attendees and team members actually improves my communication and interpersonal skills. On the third goal, the learning outcomes are to create good working relationships with skills attached to it in terms of having these relationships with colleagues. Okay, creating this good working relationship with colleagues, and also showing the ability to make informed decisions and demonstrating the ability to constructively give feedback. So the activities that are involved in this is first deciding on a common theme based on individual projects and analyzing my contribution to prevent any form of conflict of interest during project meeting discussions, and also giving and receiving feedback on every project update. So based on what I was doing for the whole practicum season, let me put it that way, or time, I had a chance to come up with this project proposal that is still undergoing. I'm still working on. So with my practicum, it led to me coming up with a goal of contributing to economic and campus community engagement. And the topic that I chose was to incentivize students towards economic community engagement. And the objective is actually to measure how impact made by students in terms of hours can be used to motivate these students by quantifying those hours of social value in monetary terms, and using this impact made by these students to award them in terms of a certification system. And in doing this, there'll be partnership with these local partners that students will be working with, and also with the university community. So that was that for the project. A quick review. But I had a chance to read a book that talks about academic advice and strategies and approaches. And that book really helped me in the course of my practicum, because it gave me the idea of how an advisory group can operate, especially with how the advisory group should take into consideration choices, decisions, and beliefs, and also behaviors of people they advise, because it matters in the success of their overall goal. Because people are coming from different backgrounds, different universities, different environments. They present different views of ideas, you know. So for the for the success of the group, there must be the consideration of each person's decisions and beliefs to be able to attain that goal that we need as a group. And also, it made me understand that advising is not a static field, but diverse, because it's kind of treat people differently based on how their goals are and how they learn things. Okay, and the values that they have as people. Although the approach might be different, but everything is tailored down to how the goal must be achieved. Okay, and last but not least, I have learned that when making decisions, one must have an environment where expectations are clear, simple, and concise, and also feasible and consistent. Because with that, everything will fall in place, everything is structured, decisions are made based on consensus, and it helps the atmosphere to be able to achieve the goals that the group sets. And also, groups must be supportive of each other towards the goal achievement. It shouldn't be a one-sided thing. So all these things came together to help me in terms of my meetings with these colleagues of mine, because in as much as I'm contributing during um, meetings, I also listen to what their views are and see how best I can be able to use those views and ideas that they are having to be able to implement that in my campus if possible, because we all there to learn, we all there to learn from one another. And that is one of the greatest things that this book taught me about advising and it being in a group. Now, looking at all these things, I am looking forward to completing my final project and present it at the 2022 APLU annual conference, and also build on my planning skills to help me save some more time on project due dates. Also, um, moving forward, I would like to be prepared to serve as an orientation mentor. You know, as we are academic advisors, we will be moving, and there will be a new batch of students who will be advising these APLU members in the form of presidents of universities. But I would like to serve as a mentor to get them to know what the details are, what they need to know, things that might help, things that we did that did not help. You know, all these things come into play to be able to help the group in a way to achieve their goal. And lastly, I'm looking forward to being able to influence the members of the APLU about the necessity of this project of mine when implemented in the various land grant universities across the US. So this is the short reflection that I have of my practicum. It might be a bit bulky, but you know, um, it was a nice experience. I had fun meeting new people from different places and getting to interact with them to learn more about how things are done in their section of the world and in their various universities. So, in terms of community engagement, I have learned a lot. I have been able to um, come up with projects that I got those ideas from how they are doing things in their universities, and that is one thing that really stand out in terms of the meetings that we have as an advisory group. Thank you very much, and I really learned a lot.